Welcome to our Wednesday netcast. I'd like to welcome everybody who's watching us live, and those who are watching the replay. We'll get right to it in just a second. So we're Laura and Dave Butler of Work Life Consulting, for those of you who don't know us, and we provide customized online coaching programs that help individuals, teams, and leaders achieve greater fulfillment in their lives, their work and their lives. Our services are tailored to fit your unique needs and include individual coaching, virtual workshops, and keynote content. And since the COVID hit and the pandemic hit a year ago, we have shifted everything to online now. And it looks like a lot of that, it may be hybrid, but really isn't going away. So our topic that we have been focusing on, based on the fact that this is an upside downism moment for everybody, is the topic of confidence. So today we're going to be talking about the aspect of situational confidence. What is it? And we'll be talking about three aspects where confidence that's specific to the situation or lack thereof shows up. So let's get started. Dave, what do you think about when you look to describe situational confidence?
Well, it reminds me of other forms of interaction, like situational leadership, which was a very popular program back 20, 25 years ago. The idea that each situation requires a different kind of response or a different kind of leadership. There's not one size fits all. As we know from everything has become more customized anyway. So situational confidence would imply that there is certain kinds of confidence that are better in certain situations. And the other side of it is that certain situations are more allow us to be more confident. In other words, some people may be more physically confident because they're in good shape and they work out and they can do stuff. And then there's other people that might feel like the last thing I want to do is go play baseball because I'll fall down and hurt myself. So there's a kind of confidence that goes along with physical, just the same as there are from other situations. So maybe we could talk about the different situations.
Well, I think it's, the situations, they're not predictable, though. So when we look at these confidence eroders, if you will, there are some situations where we're naturally confident and others not so much.
Correct.
So I would like to invite the audience who's listening, even if it's a replay, throw a 1 in the chat and let us know if you've been in situations where you feel strong and other situations not so much. So let's get into some of the situations where this confidence can be high or low. So social confidence certainly is a biggie.
How would you describe social confidence?
Well, social confidence is how, depending on what we're dealing with, what is the situation again, situational leadership, situational moment, situational presence, how we adapt and adjust. So if we look at a way that we can really help people and have helped people with this particular item, social confidence, is looking at the Berkman method. So the Berkman gives us actually a score that's called social energy. So not so much that whether you're low or high, it doesn't matter in terms of whether there's a right or wrong, but it will certainly tell us those who seem to show up in a room and own it. They're probably a higher social energy score, which comes across as being more socially confident. Right. They'll go over and, hey, how are you? Schmooze and talk to anybody.
Yeah. Well, of course, the other side of that is the classic syndrome of somebody being a wallflower or being shy, keeping themselves in one corner, maybe talking to one person. They don't come across as being socially confident. They could be more confident than they show, but they certainly appear to be lacking in confidence and may not be the first ones to go out and shake somebody's hand and say hello.
Well, I hear it a lot, especially from women around, when we were on site doing a lot of networking.
Right.
People would always say to me, I can't stand doing that. And in my world, I welcome it because it's a chance for me, and I'm high social energy, so there's no surprise there. But it's a chance for me to be prepared to want to talk to somebody who I want to meet, who, and strategically place myself in alignment, and in front of that particular person. Those with lower scores have a tendency to wait for that to happen and find these situations uncomfortable. So it looks like they're not confident when in reality, that's not the case.
Right.
It's just they may not have the bravado that it takes.
Well, I think physical confidence, like I was saying before, is probably a more obvious one where somebody has the confidence to be able to go and play sports, or, as they've worked on their ability to perform certain tasks, that kind of stuff. So they seem to be more physically confident than other people.
Yeah, I think it's that's another extension of own the room. The physical presence and physical confidence comes across in a variety of ways. There are some people they walk into the room and everybody goes, "Oh, he or she's here."
Yeah.
They take the space up, in other words. So what we recommend in these, especially these first two, are opportunities to rehearse and just move the needle a little bit. Those who are very confident and are on the high end of the social energy score at times could probably back it down a little bit because they take all the air in the room.
Yeah, definitely.
And those who are lower can kind of inflate it a bit more. And what's the worst that's going to happen? That's always my question. You may not talk to the person you wanted to talk to.
Yeah.
And the same, so that ties together. I think the two go hand in hand. The peer independence is around not letting others' point of view minimize yours. So you stay true to who you are.
Stay in the conversation, be assertive.
Right. And this is another moment for throw a 1 in the chat, if or in the comments. If this kind of thing has triggered a lack or maybe increased confidence for you, where you have been, some people who are independent this way have been praised by others for staying the course and staying true to who they are. Stage presence, that one.
Well, yeah, I was just talking to one of my leadership coachees, one of my leadership clients today, about the fact that there's something to be said for preparing before you have to go on stage. Have a little quiet time, get yourself focused. Then when the curtain goes up, ta-da! You can just show up. And I think that's meaningful to him because of the amount of time that he has to spend with clients and customers, making presentations, talking about the project, talking about their abilities to serve the client. That sometimes he feels ill prepared. And I said, well, maybe some of it's just you're not giving yourself time to rehearse. So I like your use of the word rehearsal, because I think the more you rehearse, the more you have stage presence.
Exactly. So I just wanted to remind folks, if you're coming in the replay or joining us a little later, we're Laura and Dave Butler of Work Life Consulting, and we're talking about a very important topic, which is confidence, and a subset is situational confidence.
How would you describe status confidence?
Well, I think it goes nicely with peer independence. The idea of, I'm not confident until I get to a certain level.
Like I I have
Yeah.
a fancy title like senior vice president.
Right, right.
Mhm.
And I don't have the authority, so I'm not able to share that much about me because,
Mhm.
I may not know what I'm talking about or feel
Right.
like I don't know what I'm talking about, or I'm the imposter syndrome, or, whatever those messages we have in our thought process that trigger that kind of lack of status feeling, lack of belonging, and it all comes together, all of
Yeah.
these specific situations. There is more information about all of these on our recent blog post this week, so in our certainly feel free to visit our website, which is down below. And the other thing that comes to mind is with all of this, and we talked about it in our last live stream, is the concept of fake it till you make it. Some of these situations come very naturally to some people and not so much for others.
Yeah.
So that it's an opportunity to go back to rehearsal.
Yeah.
And
Well, another way of expressing this in the theater, we used to call it act as if.
yeah,
So, you may be a little awkward and may feel a little uncomfortable at first, but if you act as if you're whatever it is that you're jumping into, you'd be surprised how it just seems to get things going.
yeah, I'd love to hear if people have any ideas of how they've been in a situation where they fake it till they make it. Again, another comment would be terrific in the comments. But it's we've all been there. It's one of those. What does Amy Cuddy say, the researcher? Fake it till you believe it.
Yeah, fake it till you believe it. That's another good way of thinking about it.
Yeah, I think because once we start over and over and over again, we start to believe it. You look at sports and training. Well, I believe I can do that.
There's been a lot of research showed that when somebody envisions the fact that they get the ball in the basket in basketball, they have a much higher likelihood of doing it.
Absolutely. Well, I think when you start to do this enough and you start to feel like you're in the situation where you belong and you've worked your way in, whatever it may be, that's the mojo kicking in. You can't deny mojo. It's very visible. But there are some crushers we've noticed recently in terms of how do we maintain our confidence overall. And one of them is this remote reality that we're all in. The how do we thrive in this moment of still so much uncertainty? I remember seeing recently, if I hear another word like uncertainty, I'm going to just shut down. Well, it's still it's there and we can't deny it. That's for sure. And
well, I think one of the more obvious, sorry.
We're moving into the hybrid moment, I think.
Yeah. Well, I think one of the things that happens is you can't see the body language quite the same as on a Zoom call than when you're together with someone. And I think that's one of the crushers that showed up.
Yeah, and so we've created a quiz that helps people to identify where they're at in terms of their ability to thrive. And the ability to thrive in the virtual world is related to the how stressed you feel in this moment. It doesn't mean we have to celebrate stress by any means, but we need to get ahead of it so that we manage the stress before it manages us.
Right.
So this quiz, download this quiz, click the link here, and you can get an idea of where you're at. And also you can follow our website. The quiz is available on site as well. And you'll be able to get a sense of where you're at and be kind of invited into our world where we'll provide you with additional information about a variety of topics. This week was confidence. We talk each week on something that we feel is relevant and what we hear about from our clients. And every Wednesday, usually 4 o'clock, Sometimes it's a little earlier, but usually 4 o'clock. So send us your topics and questions that you would like to have us dive into. And we are also creating a list of people we'd like to interview. So any closing comments, Dave?
Hey, fake it till you make it.
That's it. Fake it till you
That's
make
my
it.
motto.
Thanks as usual for joining us, and we'll see you next week.